a visionary. I've always like envisioned living in Addis,
How was it for you finding friends?
dating, or then got engaged and got married. My husband's friends became my friends. It was just the path that I took was very surprising because I had just finished my studies, didn't even have a job opportunity yet. So I think obviously the biggest change in my life is becoming a mother.
How was your wedding?
And done 4 days before the wedding. So I was freaking out, honestly. Decor, you discuss one thing and there's another. All over like the floor and all the banners, my name was spelled wrong.
So welcome back to Unfiltered Culture, everybody. Today's guest is someone I personally know for a while, and it's been interesting watching her journey. So Lidya, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. So, for the people who do not know you, please explain who you are and introduce yourself just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Okay. My name is Lidya. I live in Addis. I have a beautiful son. I'm married and I'm very happy living here. And I'm very glad to be able to reunite with you in Addis.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's basically it.
All right. So let me take you back the first time we met. We path like it was like Stuttgart, right?
I think so.
It's been a while. Since then, I think you moved here, and then you start working, and then somehow we got back. And when I was like, interesting. When I come to Addis and I saw you, it was like, tell me more. What's going on? So it's for me, for people who move back to Ethiopia, it's always interesting. So how was your first impression when you moved back?
So I mean, I've always come to Ethiopia with my family, right? I was born and raised in Germany, for anybody that doesn't know. But I would always come to Addis with my dad or my mom. And I've always, for some reason, wanted to move here. And so I've always said that I will live in Ethiopia at some point. So I think I wasn't surprised that I was finally able to move. It was just the path that I took was very surprising because I had just finished my studies, didn't even have a job opportunity yet. So this was around 2018 when I just had finished my studies. And I was just kind of looking into internships and how I could, set a foot in Addis and somehow get to know the city and my country better. And God just, made a way. And finally, I got a job and everything went so fast. So I ended up moving end of 2018. And then I think 2019 we met.
Yeah.
I was working at IOM. And yeah, I think things just kind of took their own way. Yeah.
You're here.
I'm here, yeah.
So when you compare yourself back and now when you live in Addis, what kind of person were you back in Germany and what kind of person you are now?
Okay. I mean, I've lived here for a while now. So I was very young. I moved when I was 21 and I'm 28 now. So yeah, almost 7 years. This year is going to mark 7 years of my move to Addis. I'd say I was very open-minded. Like I said, I was a visionary. I've always like envisioned living in Addis, even though I had never really seen anybody else that was born and raised in Germany take that step. But I knew I wanted to do it anyway. I remember a lot of people made fun of me too because they were like, "What are you gonna do?" And it's dangerous, and just like some pessimistic things that people or the views that they have about Africa in general, I would say. So yeah, I think I was very like confident in my decision making back then, and then but also very young and naive, I guess, and that naivety like helped me make that big step.
So what was like balancing your Ethiopian roots and while living in Germany, both personally and socially, for you?
Okay, I guess. I mean, growing up there, you kind of feel like German. Obviously, I just except for my skin color and my parents, I just did everything that a German kid would do growing up. So I think as you get older, that's when you start noticing the difference.
Yeah.
And then culturally, you said, right? Like cultural difference. I guess growing up also with an Ethiopian community, like the church I grew up in, it helped me to just kind of, identify more as Ethiopian. And as I started learning the language better, I felt more Ethiopian. And like I said, at some point when in my I was maybe like 7 or so, I started saying, "Oh, I'm gonna go to Ethiopia. I'm gonna live in Ethiopia." Just because my dad also has this NGO in Ethiopia, and he would always tell me, there's so much to do still, and
Yeah.
the country's growing, and I could be part of it one day. So I think that just kind of helped me see myself in Addis or in Ethiopia in general in the future. So I think, like I said, I think it was an easier transition with the Ethiopian church that I was involved in, knowing that there was other Ethiopian diasporas that grew up or that were born and raised in Germany like me, helped me to know, I have people that are like me, but also I am German. I identify as German as well.
So you find common ground.
Yeah.
And then, okay. So at home versus outside, do you feel you're living two different life, but like culturally?
Back then in Germany, you
Yeah.
mean? Yeah, I do. I think, once you start seeing how your friends live or how their parents interact with their children, you start noticing, okay, there's a difference. My parents raise me differently. They talk to me differently. The food we eat is different. So, yeah, there's a difference that you can see. But also, I think that our parents know deep inside that we're not 100% like them. So or my parents at least, were very lenient and just kind of chill for Habesha parents, I would say.
I know your dad is very chill.
Yeah.
Your dad is very chill.
And so, yeah, I think I just had the best of both worlds, I would say.
So when you come to Ethiopia or to Addis, do you have like you said you have a church who like kind of supports you and like show you the way? Have you given back that to other people? Because you get the help from people when you moved here. Have you met someone who also did the same move as you do? Did you give back what you get?
Yes. So I would say, I mean, like I said, a lot of people thought it was silly, the
Yeah.
fact that I wanted to move to Ethiopia. I don't know if I would consider it like help that they didn't, I mean, honestly, I didn't have that much support when I told people I wanted to move. But my parents were supportive. They didn't think I was going to eventually move, but they thought I was just going to come here for 3 to 6 months and then, get fed up and go back. But my dad actually organized a goodbye party for me. And it was also my graduation party. And I got the chance to kind of talk to the younger people that were attending the event. And I told them, like I said, I made it, so you guys can make it too. If you have it on your heart to move or to just go to Ethiopia for a while, you should definitely give it a try. And ever since then, there's been a couple of people that actually came for internships or for a longer period of time. And some of my friends also eventually moved
Nice.
after seeing me move, I guess, because I think after you see somebody do it,
Someone has to be first.
Yeah,
and
you
then
can see it's not that hard, and yeah, and they can see how great it actually is to live in Addis.
it is nice. Like has I mean, when you come here, it's always even though you were not born here, you feel at home. So it's that easy. How was it for you finding friends?
I think that's very interesting. So, like I said, I moved end of 2018. So almost 2019, and I was very busy with work. I think when you came to Addis one time, we just were able to have like a quick lunch together close to my office because I was just very passionate about the job that I did. I was able to work for something that, just kind of fulfilled me at that moment. So I was more focused on work, to be honest, the first couple of years. And then obviously I was dating or then got engaged and got married. So I was also focusing on that relationship, and naturally my husband's friends became my friends, and we just have mutual friends now. But now, the past 2 years, I would say, or 1.5 since I gave birth, I was desperately looking for mom friends. That's when I realized, wow, I've been living in such a bubble, like just going to work, coming back. I never really invested into good friendships. And then, when you're stuck at home, that's when you realize. So I think it was hard to even find people that were gonna raise their children like I wanted to raise my child, because it's very common in Addis to have helpers or nannies. And it's also, I have the privilege to stay at home with my child, but a lot of people don't. So they, are forced to have those nannies. But yeah, it was very important for me to find somebody that kind of had the same mindset, you know, to just kind of have play dates, go on walks. And I was very lucky to find a couple of friends that tried to raise their children like I do, or yeah, we kind of just match, you know?
So kind of motherhood gave you that opportunity
Yes.
to get more
And they
friends.
also happen to be people that were born and raised in, like born
Abroad.
and raised abroad. Yeah.
Nice. So you mentioned you got engaged, have babies, like you tell it as if it's something fast. So congratulations
Thank
first.
you.
I told you anyways before that.
Thank you.
So you have a son now,
Son.
right? So how old?
2. He just turned 2.
Oh, nice. So if I may ask, how did you guys meet with your better half?
Okay. Good question. So I don't think I mentioned that earlier, but in 2018, before my move, I came here for 3 months. And before I came, I had a friend of mine that lived in Germany, but now she's also here. Um, she had told me about this place that somebody took her, and it was somewhere in Guragi area, and she showed me pictures.
Nice.
And I was just very excited because I was planning to come to Ethiopia, but I didn't know, you know, where I could go outside of Addis. So I told her that her friend should definitely take me. And she was like, "Yeah, I got you. His name's Abil. I'll connect you." So then, yeah, she connected us and we started talking. And then by the time I came to Addis, we had already kind of known each other, you know. So, yeah. And then when I met him here, he was very, you know, caring and I guess a bit different from what I was used to in Germany because he would like go out of his way to pick me up and drop me everywhere. And he was just very intentional.
Gentleman.
So, yeah, very gentleman. um, and then I liked the fact, you know, because growing up abroad, you kind of think that people that live in Addis, they just want to move out of the country. And he was just the opposite. He kept telling me what potential this city has and that if you put your mind to it, you could basically do anything here if you work hard. And that's what I needed because, like I told you back in Germany, everybody was like, no, it's scary. What are you going to do in Addis?
Exactly.
So I was like, I think, yeah, this person might be good for me. So, yeah, but then unfortunately I had to go back after 3 months. I went back to Germany. So I didn't know if it was going to last. We were in a long distance relationship for 6 months and then I got the job opportunity and I moved to Addis. So ever since then I've been here and happy.
Nice. So that was your anchor point, just like
Yeah.
to make a better decision. All right. So I haven't met him yet. I would love to meet him because I always see him on Instagram and stuff. But
Yeah.
you invited me last time, but I hadn't had time to come. So I would love to have lunch, dinner, whatever.
Sure.
So you been working there, but after you gave birth, you're not working anymore, right?
Right.
So how long did you work in this NGO?
So from 2019 until 2023. That's like what, 4 years almost? Yeah, 4 years.
4, yeah, 4.
Yeah.
Roundabouts.
Yeah, I worked for 4 years and then I'm still actually on leave. They have the special leave that you can take. But I'm not sure if I want to go back yet because
now you enjoy
now
mom life.
I do enjoy mom life and I do see so many other opportunities. Like I said, I feel like I was in a bubble back then.
Yeah.
I was so focused on just, you know, my 9 to 5. Whereas now I'm just, you know, seeing a lot of other opportunities in the city. So yeah, we'll see where my next vision goes. Yeah.
Nice. How was the work experience? Did that give you first glimpse of how Addis work life is?
Yeah. So when I came for 3 months for my internship, I already got a little glimpse of what work life could be. But then
It's totally different than from Germany.
100%.
So
But also then again, in Germany, I only had like student work jobs, you know, I didn't have a fixed or grown up adult job. And when I came here, the position was very challenging for me in the beginning. My back then boss, he was very keen on just training me a lot and making me very independent. And there was a couple of people that I had to basically supervise, which was tough because they were all older than me. And, you know, given our culture, it was just kind of awkward, to say the least. But it definitely gave me a glimpse on how work ethic is in Addis. I must say, I think I liked the fact that it wasn't like you have to be 100% punctual when it comes to, you know, day-to-day work clock in time. But everything else kind of freaked me out. Like people not freaking out about deadlines as much as I did, or just not taking work hours once they're in the office that serious.
Oh yeah,
Chai bunna.
exactly.
And yeah, that was a bit challenging. And also the way people talk to you, just because you're their supervisor or whatever, they just kind of, I don't know.
It's like, yeah,
Yeah, they kind of just they're not like on break we would talk normal, and then when it comes to work they're not as confident sometimes. Obviously there was some colleagues that were super confident, that were that knew what they were doing, but then there were some colleagues that would keep coming and asking me the same question, and I would be very surprised,
I mean, as long as they have the respect, should be fine actually.
Yeah.
So when you mentioned time, work is not 9 to 5 here is not actually 9 to 5. So you come in, you talk with your colleague, you go to a lunch, have a coffee. So that is actually interesting because it gives you more social life than when you have in Germany.
Yeah,
Germany, you just come in, work, you have a break, and then you go home.
Yeah.
Which one do you find better? The one in Germany or the one here?
No, I like this one here. I like the fact that people eat lunch together. And, you get to know your colleagues properly.
Yeah.
Like I said, while I was in Germany, I was working as a student, even at like an office as well. But I would never even know our colleagues properly, You would just say hi, bye.
All right.
You'd celebrate birthdays for some reason. I don't know, in Germany.
So
That's
they do a lot.
Yeah.
Here is like crazy. They rent out rooms and everything. So that's actually very celebrated.
Yeah, but even in Germany, I'm like, how you barely know the colleagues, but they just bring some cake and things like that. Whereas here, it's on a day-to-day basis. You're just happy together. You get to know each other on a deeper level. You go to each other's big events, like when somebody gives birth, you go to Lexos and Anderlei. So yeah, I like that there's this social life. I just sometimes it was interfering with deadlines and work and the seriousness of what we were doing.
So when you mention social life, because you meet people, new friends at weddings, and I know you love weddings. So how was your wedding?
Oh wow. Okay, well, I think it was a cultural clash. It was a cultural clash, so to say the least. It was very big. It was during COVID, but it was a very huge wedding. And it was nothing like I imagined it. But it was still very beautiful to see that everybody around us was so happy and celebrated us like with a deep passion and just joy, But yeah, it was a very stressful time for us because during COVID, you weren't allowed to invite as many people as you wanted. So we ended up changing this warehouse into a wedding hall just for the wedding. And it wasn't even done 4 days before the wedding. So I was freaking out, honestly. And then there's decor. You discuss one thing and there's another. Even my name was spelled wrong.
Oh no.
All over like the floor and all the banners. So yes, a lot of things were just very chaotic.
Dang.
But our bridal, like my bridesmaids and the groomsmen were the best. I'm so thankful for them. They made sure that, even when everything went chaotic, that we were still happy. And it was just going on for days, Habsha weddings are long.
Yeah.
There's many events before and after.
Yeah. I was following that on because you were posting it on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, this is very huge. And since then you've been going to weddings.
Yeah. I love weddings. Yeah.
I know. So how was, because in every wedding you will meet someone's family, someone's friends, new friends. Have you met any friend on the wedding you like still have contact with and you're a good friend with, or is just for the wedding?
Probably. I think I meet due to my wedding. There's a lot of people that know me and that attended my wedding that I don't know.
Yeah.
So I guess those people I would just say hi and probably never see again or not recognize again. But there are a couple of friends that we, you just keep seeing each other because of mutual friends. And yeah, there's just wedding friends, there's some people that you always know they're going to be at the big event.
This wedding. Yeah. So you meet there. So
that's when you realize, Addis is huge, but then again, it's so small. Yeah.
I think it's the same anywhere else. So you've been traveling, right, since before and after the wedding. Yeah, I think you traveled also one time with your son.
Many times,
Many
yeah.
times. How was the first time traveling with the child?
With a baby.
Yeah.
Well, the first time it was just traveling back for because I gave birth in Germany,
Yeah.
and we traveled back to Addis. I think I was very nervous just because I was a new mom and I didn't want him to breathe dirty air. You know, I just freaked out about everything. But
Yes.
then after that, we got so comfortable traveling with him, and he's at this point he knows what to do.
Yeah.
Whenever we get in the plane, he just wants to sleep, which I'm so happy about because I was always scared of those babies that cry in the airplane. You know.
Oh my God, yeah. It's
But
the
I think
worst.
with every stage, it's just different. When he was a baby, he was, you know, just mainly breastfeeding, sleeping. And then as he got older, he would start moving around and you have to follow him in the airplane. And now he's a full grown toddler. So I guess the next trip will show me what,
What's gonna
what's going to
happen? I
happen.
think it's gonna be even more because now you're still calm, and then once they grow up,
Yeah.
then until he reaches some teenager, and then he become again. So
Yeah, probably.
so does your family come to you to see, or you go more
Yeah.
often?
Yeah, they come. Usually once a year they come, and then once a year I go. I usually like to go for Christmas because that's, you know, the Christmas markets in Germany and I like the weather, you know. Sometimes it's a good change from the heat in
Snow.
Addis, yeah. And then yeah, they come to visit and now that they have a grandchild, you know, they're more excited to come.
Nice. So when we go to work, life, and struggle, were there any struggle in your life? It's like one struggle or one issue or one problem you face in your life that completely changed your
Changed me. I think obviously the biggest change in my life is becoming a mother.
life.
um, Everything else just seems so irrelevant compared to that. So I think, yeah, my first couple of months after giving birth, it was just a really hard identity struggle, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of postpartum. Like that's the time after birth. And there's a lot of people that even go into depression because of that. I wouldn't say I was depressed, but I was just also just struggling to accept the new me. Um, and accept the fact that, like, you know, the smallest things like my husband going to work and me staying at home just kind of felt so weird, you know, because while I was in Germany, it just kind of felt like a vacation. But as soon as we moved here or came back with the baby, I had never stayed in my apartment for this long, you know. I was always, like I said, out working, coming back home, and staying at home with the child just kind of, it was very, it's to this point, I feel like it's the most fulfilling thing for me. Um, and I love it. And I guess, like I said, it's also a privilege for me to stay at home, and I'm choosing to do so. But at the same time, just accepting that new reality is just very hard, you know? And it's just, even if I had the option to leave him at the grandma's house and go somewhere, I just physically couldn't do that because it was so hard for me.
It's new mamas always.
Yeah, new moms, exactly. So I think that's the biggest challenge I faced postpartum and all the anxiety that comes with it, finding a new identity. And I think the good outcome is I feel like during that time I was journaling a lot. I have a prayer journal and I was just writing, you know, a lot of things down that I was going through, and I feel like that season brought me closer to my faith. Um and just made me confident. And like I said, everything else seems so irrelevant after that, you know, when I used to care about what people say, what people think.
Yeah.
Now it just doesn't matter as much, you know. And I'm proudly a stay-at-home mom, even though that's just very controversial and a lot of people think I'm not using my potential to the way I could. I feel like investing in a child is the biggest thing I can do right now.
I think they will understand once they have their own child. So
Maybe.
so investing in yourself, because in the beginning you said your husband is telling you or more empowering you to stay here and grow with the country. Have you any future ideas or future businesses you wanted to do?
A very good question.
You don't have to tell us the idea because someone
Okay. Might steal it.
copy it. So just
You know, I love fantasizing. I love just having different visions. I think thought about, from things like a podcast to a bakery to a, I don't know, like wedding planner. I've thought it all through. I think in every niche or every sector, there's still so much to be done. I'm still trying to find out what I'm willing to do, because, putting time into that would mean take time away from my child. And just right now, nothing is as precious to me as that. And again, I'm coming from a very privileged place to say that. I know that a lot of moms would love to do that and can't. I'm not trying to shame any moms that are working or anything. But yeah, I think there's just so much to be done. And without just going into any detail, I think maybe just looking into untouched spaces.
Okay.
I think I could do basically a lot of things. Yeah.
So you have
I've
thought
thought about
about
yeah,
it.
yeah,
So
I've
you
thought
have
about it, and definitely I do think that I'm not gonna go back to a 9 to 5, or even if IOM, working at IOM was a very good experience for me. I think that I could use my potential even more if I open up something else,
Yeah.
and even I would, I guess, see the differences much faster. Because sometimes working for a corporate organization or an NGO, you're very limited, and
And what you can do.
you know what you can do. And sometimes, when you move from the West, you kind of just want to use all your potential and just pour it all into your
Yeah.
country. And I wasn't able to do that as much as I wanted to. So opening up my own thing would definitely be the next step for me.
Nice. So I will check back on you once that happens,
That.
because this always when I have guests and they tell me I have this idea, I have this,
Mm,
I will invite them back again once they started, and then to see how the business is going.
nice.
So there will be a second round. Once you've done it, let me know.
Okay, I'm glad.
So since I know you, you're a very religious person. So your family is same. How is it here? Because you obviously you brought your religion with you wherever you go, and you have a strong friendship with the and all religion partners here as well. How was the shift for you?
That's a really good question. I feel like so my dad is Protestant, my mom's Orthodox.
I know that.
Yeah. So I kind of grew up with both, right? And in Germany, obviously I've always known the difference, but I didn't think that it was so radically, radical here in this country.
Yeah.
And you had to when you say you're Christian, people want to know like what kind of Christian, and I've had a couple of one back then when I was just not driving. I would always go by ride, and it was a very long drive from my house to work. And there was always that question, like, "Oh, are you Christian?" And I'd be like, "Yes." And they'd be like, "So Orthodox?" And I'm like, I'm a Christian. Are you Binti? No, I'm a Christian, So I think, yeah, it was tough for me to realize that there's such a big division in this country in regards to Christianity. And I'm I still don't I wouldn't say I would still describe myself to one group, but obviously I'm practicing one more than the other, I guess. And even having those conversations with people my age, it was unexpected, because I would expect that kind of conversation with older people. And yeah, just, I mean, it's a very sensitive topic, so I don't want to say anything wrong. But,
no, it's fine. I just want to.
Yeah, like, older people, they just have one side and just want to convince you about it. Whereas I thought, the younger generation would be more open to just realizing that Christian means like a Christ, like, yeah. But it's different. I guess, how we are raised is different.
I think it's religion is always one topic like people cannot be on one space, on one page. Anyone has their own opinion, so respect that opinion and
that's
do
right.
yourself. So that's fine.
That's right.
So when you, because your husband has also the same religion, right? You guys do the same. So how was that for your mom and for your dad? Because now your mom and dad has different, but now you have the same.
Yeah.
How was the?
I think it was expected. They expected me to end up with somebody that, is strong in their walk with Christ. I don't think they were surprised in any way. maybe from my husband's side, they might have been a bit more surprised, because
Mm.
just even when it came to our wedding, there was just some cultural clashes as well. Because for me, having a wedding didn't mean that you can't have musharai playing. It was hard for me to
Yeah.
understand just because of my background as well. My parents never would have had a problem with that. Whereas here, obviously, you just have mazmur at the wedding.
But you did play the music?
We did. We did.
I know that.
We just had, how Mels is from the girl's side.
Yeah.
So my Mels was just how I envisioned it to be. And our wedding just ended up being more traditional,
Oh, yeah.
I guess. And yeah, we just had the best of both worlds. I guess that would describe us as a couple as well. Um, even though he grew up strictly Protestant,
Mm.
I think he understood me from the very beginning, that it wasn't about him being it for me, it was just for me. I wanted him to be a firm believer of Christ and like the Bible. He would know it very well and just, open to walking with Christ.
Yeah, and a better, I would say a better. I don't. People when they say role model, they don't like it, but a good dad for your
For my
child.
son, 100%. Yeah.
So when you come to Addis, it's always you don't take taxi. You always get ride. I never. I think I did one time, and never again. So, but now you drive yourself.
Yeah.
How was the shift from ride to driving yourself here?
Well, actually, in Encanto Sharallo, I used to walk from my grandma's house, but that's where I first lived, to work. And then one time I was chased by a crazy person.
Okay.
So that's when I stopped walking. And then I would start taking the taxi, the normal minibus.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, sometimes when you grow up abroad, you kind of feel like this half of you is missing out. So I wanted to be fully Ethiopian too. I wanted, like, I didn't even want people to notice that I have an accent or anything. So, or if I didn't know a word, I would just pretend like I would understand, but I would write it down or like try to memorize it. Even to this day, that's what I do. If I don't know a word, I don't like to admit that I don't know it. I would just kind of pretend that I understand and then ask somebody to explain it to me later. So yeah, I did take the taxi, and then slowly I shifted to ride. And then driving was, luckily I started driving during COVID.
Okay.
So it was much easier. It was, yeah, calmer. And then, but I was a confident driver in Germany as well. I guess if you're confident in your driving skills,
Yeah.
you just have to watch out about everybody else. And now in Addis, driving is just it comes so naturally to me.
It's 7 years now.
Yeah,
So it's
exactly.
walking in the park for you.
Basically.
So I mean, in the beginning, I took the taxi just to clarify.
Okay.
But when you come back to Ethiopia, people know exactly that you don't live there.
Yeah.
They know, okay, you're a diaspora, so. And you always have to be, whenever I tell my families I'm taking taxi, you do not take a taxi by yourself, or you have someone with you. I'm very proud of myself. I took one time a very long taxi ride, even with changing and everything. So after that, we had a bad experience, and I was like, no.
Okay.
Then wait, something happens, and you're like,
Yeah.
the same thing when you walked in.
Yeah.
So
The crazy person.
that was for me, but the stories you hear in taxis and how people tell lies in taxis, like I'm here, but they're not even there, so it's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, driving here is now I drive myself also here, so more or less the same.
Yeah.
So how was I mean, the law is almost the same here when you drive, but there's some street where they have from this time to this time it's only one way, and then how do you do you know yourself, or do you still use Google Maps?
No, that's funny that you're asking that question because I still don't know how to read and write Amharic.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I'm learning right now because I don't want my son to know it before me.
Oh.
But yeah, so those signs freak me out. Like whenever I see one of those signs and there's no car in front of me to show me if they're doing the U-turn or not, I freak out and I just don't take that U-turn, or I just go as far as possible because I don't want to make a mistake. So yeah, I guess like you said, all the other signs are similar, which is but reading things, and when people tell you, oh, that building or this building and that building does not have an English writing on it. Yeah,
7 years. You have to keep up now. Yeah.
Well, it's gonna be 7 years in December.
Okay.
I have
Okay.
time.
6 years and something. Okay.
Maybe next time if you invite me, I'll be able to read and write.
All right. So, when you, I mean, you say you're not planning to go back to work, and what is what kind of mental state you are at the moment?
I think like I said, I think that I'm the most fulfilled at the moment.
Okay.
Um, at the same time, it's weird because you grew up thinking, or at least, I grew up thinking I have to, be the best at everything I do. I have to, um, in my case, also when I started working, climb up the corporate ladder in order to be successful. Um, but all of the sudden, as soon as I got pregnant, I knew that was not going to be my mission. So I think now, whenever I feel like I'm doing good at parenting, which is hard because you're like,
You knew.
yeah,
Don't know what you're doing.
everything is still new. That's when I'm the happiest, and yeah, it's just very beautiful, and I'm very blessed and happy.
I think I can see what's going on here. I think it's your son has rubbed you around
True,
his
true.
finger. So, I mean, it's kind of this similar question, but when it comes to your future, how do you see yourself or your future personally, as professionally and spiritually?
I would say when I'm spiritually at the best where I am,
Mm-hmm.
at the best level, I guess, or at least if I'm doing any progress spiritually, it will be easier for me to identify that the path that I'm taking is right or not right. So I think, or I pray, that my focus will be more on that.
Mm-hmm.
And professionally, I would say, once I've had enough of my child, not enough, but like once he goes to school, or once I have to start focusing on myself again, I would hope to just do something, where like I said earlier, that where I can use most of my potential, um, and also use up all the resources that I have right now, and at least there's so many connections, people you meet, and I don't want to take that for granted, but at the same time, I don't want to miss opportunities as well. So,
Sure.
yeah, professionally, I hope I would see myself with a business one day soon. And then, creating job opportunities, seeing also the lives of the people that I get to employ change in a good way, kind of applying what I learned at my job to the business or maybe even social enterprise aspect.
Okay. So since you've been living here 6 months and
6 years and
sorry, 6 years and some
months, 3-4 months, yeah.
Give us some tips. What is your favorite coffee? What is your favorite restaurant? And what is the one spot you always go?
Okay, that's hard. That's really hard. Because I'm a very picky eater, I have to say. But I think, for somebody that's just traveling to Addis,
Yeah.
it would be very, very important to go to historical places.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Unity Park, they did a really good job in kind of just showcasing culture and history at the same time. So that would be one place I would take people.
Okay.
Then food. That's hard.
I
That's
mean,
very
restaurants
hard.
open and close here. So I remember last year when I was here, I went to one restaurant and now it's not existing anymore.
Yeah.
So it's kind of difficult. I get it for restaurant, but from the restaurants which you were going, they're still open. Which one
Yeah.
would you recommend?
Okay. I think from just the top of my head, I can think of my favorite pizza place, and that would be Mokoro. Have you heard of it?
No. What is that?
You should grab a pizza there.
So my crew knows already. So
Yeah, Mokoro has really good pizza, and the owner is really nice and very passionate about what he does. So definitely shout out to Mokoro. And then
shout out to Makoro.
shout out to Mokoro. And then what else was it? Place, food.
Coffee.
I don't drink coffee. Yeah, I don't drink coffee.
What?
So I'm very sorry. I don't even want to give an advice because I wouldn't know the taste.
Okay, then juice.
Oui, George.
No juice there.
No, but I'm trying to think of places that maybe my friends own so I could just give a shout out. uh, no.
No, I mean,
Yeah, Dalmalla. Dalmalla. Yeah, they have.
I don't know that.
You don't know that either? Oh.
They're not taking me anywhere.
And
Like,
they
I came here just like we work and then I go back.
they used to be in Bole. Now they're in Samit, I believe. Yeah, yeah. So they have good juices, breakfasts,
Nice.
snacks. Yeah, very good.
Okay. So have you been to Katenya or something?
Yes,
So that place,
Gatinga's good. Yeah, good.
something we can
How's
agree
your
on.
belly
I know.
after eating Gatinga?
I don't eat actually. They always like goret
Mm.
with misser or something with siga. That's
Fun fact: that was the first place my now husband took me, and he made me try goret, and I was sick for a week. So, yeah. But Gatinga, their kontat turkush firfir is bomb.
so when you come first, you shouldn't try raw meat anyways. I mean,
Yeah.
goret is not raw, but still, you should be careful what you're eating.
Yeah.
All right. So we kind of going to the end.
Mhm.
But for people out there caught between two, like culture and moving back to their roots, what would you recommend
Mm.
to, like, what would you tell them to do?
I think for any diaspora living abroad, I think it's important to just kind of find out where your other half comes from. You know,
Mm-hmm.
even if you don't know the culture, because I know a lot of people shy away from going to their country because they can't communicate with their family members or with anybody in that country. I think it would still be very important to kind of just get a glimpse of your culture, um, how the real food tastes like, the real coffee, for example, in Addis. So not moving, but coming to Ethiopia for a certain period of time, if possible, for an extended period of time. That's what I would recommend the Ethiopian diasporas abroad. And what I would also recommend is if you do have the vision or dream to one day, give back. I don't like the term give back, but just kind of invest in your country or use the gifts that God has given you, basically. Then don't shy away from that, no matter what people say, no matter if nobody believes in that dream. It's possible, and it's
Example.
yeah, yeah. Thank God, I'm very happy about it. And honestly, I didn't even get to go into that much detail, but even the path of how I ended up here is just so surprising. And I truly believe that if God places a desire in your heart, there's gonna also be a way. So just listen to that desire, pray about it if you believe, and just take steps towards it. Obviously, as well. If you want to come, book a ticket.
Yeah, just do it.
Book a ticket. Just do it. Yeah, and I would be more than willing to assist people if they have questions, if they want to move. Yeah, if they want to move, you're more than welcome to talk to me on social media, because some people have reached out and they've asked me, and I know it's hard to just kind of take that leap of faith and move to a different country. So having somebody that you can talk to or ask questions at least will kind of ease you into that.
Yeah. So you said you didn't go into deep how the whole thing happens. You were very young when you knew that you were gonna be back and forth and back and forth. What makes the difference? Like, what was the moment you say, what it clicks and you say, okay, I want to go back and just see what's going on?
I think when I came here for my internship, that I stayed for 3 months, and that was the longest time I had ever stayed in Ethiopia.
Okay.
But that definitely gave me an idea of what my life could look like. Also, meeting my husband made the move so much easier, even when so I told you we were dating for 6 months. I had just finished my bachelorate, and then I had applied for internships, but I got the job opportunity that I hadn't even applied for. So nice. I just wanted an internship, but they desperately needed somebody that spoke German and English and Amharic. And so I had 3 weeks to decide, or basically to move. And I was freaking out, to say the least.
3 weeks is a very short time.
Very short, imagine. And then with German bureaucracy, you have to, you cancel all your memberships with everything. And it was tough. But my husband said, or my back then boyfriend, he said, "You're German. You can go back anytime. What are you scared about?"
Yeah.
So I think, like I said, being naive and young in that age, and I was not bound to anything, made that step easier. Obviously, if I was 28 back then and had my own apartment, my own job, it would be hard to leave behind those things. But I was a student. I was going to start working anyway. So I thought, why not? And that, I think that was the turning point for me. After I had my internship, applying to places in Ethiopia and just believing that I was going to go back one time to be back with my boyfriend as well as have a job. And when it worked out, I was convinced that it had to be God's plan.
It has to be. 3 weeks is a very short time.
It was a very short time.
One question for the job description, they didn't ask for Amharic writing, right?
No, they didn't. No, I just was able.
Okay.
I just had to communicate with colleagues.
Okay, that makes it easier.
Yeah.
And when you moved here, do you stay with your family here or you get an own apartment?
No, I stayed with family, with my grandma back then, because it was closer to work. So just for practical reasons, I stayed there, and I did think about moving out at some time, but when I told my boyfriend back then, also I started 2019, right, and then 2020 COVID hit. So even when I got comfortable to move out, there was another, unpredictable thing happening. So I decided to stay with my family, and then I got married in 2021. So
that was actually a very good timeline, to be honest, right?
Yeah.
Like you moved here, COVID happened, everything back to normal, and then
yeah,
which is nice. So I mean, since we met, it's been so long,
very long.
very long, and I'm always amazed by people who they say they want to do something, and they still they talk how they walk, or they walk how they talk.
Yeah.
So, what was for you surprising parts in all this moving? I would say madness in 3 weeks. What was the surprising part for you? Or it was like smoothly? It's like, oh, this should not be that smooth. So, what was that for you?
It was the moving part, because I was controlled by me, kind of. It was easy. I think, just kind of starting the job was the rough part, because I had to just go to different offices, and you'd have to register yourself in different places, and Ethiopian government offices are very hard. So
Yeah.
even opening up a bank account was like rocket science to me back then. It was just
Here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because in Germany, you're used to just kind of having one person that kind of shows you everything. It's not that crowded.
Yeah.
Whereas here, the banks are just very crowded, and people don't even notice you. Like, you walk in and you just kind of, you have to find your way.
Don't get me started with
Yeah.
that.
So I think that was the roughest part, but everything else was smooth. And I think what surprised me was the fact that my then boyfriend just kind of like dropped everything to help me out, to do everything for me to get used to and settle well. Because, like, in Germany, that's just not part of the culture.
Yeah.
People are very independent, which is good, but they also expect you to be independent. And I luckily didn't have to do all of these things by myself. So
that's the smooth part.
That was the smooth part.
So he had a bigger role in this
100%.
easy.
100%. Yeah.
Okay. So shout out to your husband.
Shout out to Abir. I love you.
So on this podcast we have culture. So everybody, like any guest who comes here, write a question without knowing who they write the question for. So someone wrote a question for you.
Okay.
Without knowing you'll be sitting here. So you will read the question and answer, and then you will write one of your own question.
Okay. What legacy would you like to leave behind when it's all said and done?
There's another one.
And then, are you happy?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. What legacy would I like to leave behind? I guess on my gravestone, right? I would like for it to say, good daughter from God, that I was, just a good daughter. Because, if you're a child, you're you're good to your parents anyway, right? But I would like to be seen as a good daughter for God, a faithful servant. And I would like to be seen as a good wife, because that's my first ministry that I've been blessed with. And I would like it to say a good mother. Those, I guess, and at the end of your days, that's the most important thing, you know? Everything else kind of becomes irrelevant. And if I do end up having a good job and good business, I would like for it to make a change. And even if it's the smallest change, if it's just changing one family's life and making them become more independent, you know, that would be great. And then, am I happy? Yes. Thank God. I am happy. I'm very blessed. And yeah, you know, happiness is not just one state, I would say, you know.
Yeah.
But I am joyful.
Nice.
So I get to write the question?
Yes. At the end of the show, you can write your own question, and then next guest will be happy to read it and answer it. So yeah, it's been very, very nice having you here to listen to your story. Most of it I know, but not all of it. And I wanted to have you on the show because you have interesting story, especially for people who wants to move back. That could help them. I hope you guys appreciate this. And if, like she says, if you guys have any question, slide in the DMs and ask for social media or Instagram, right?
Yeah.
So if you have any final thoughts for the people who's listening and watching this podcast, I would gladly give you the mic back to you.
Well, Amani, thank you. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for creating this opportunity for people to talk about their cultures and share about their journeys in life. For me, it was definitely insightful. Even the questions you asked, you know, made me think about a couple of decisions that I've made, or even, you know, to be grateful about where I stand right now. Because sometimes, you know, in day-to-day life, you don't get to notice the things that God has done for you or the ways you've already walked. So I guess the message that I'd like to give away for people watching, and specifically the people that we were targeting, I guess, in this episode, is if you are a diaspora that was born and raised or that lived abroad for a while, I know that growing up in two different cultures can be very tough sometimes. It can lead to identity crisis and just make you question, where do I belong, you know? But we're all in this together. We've all gone through this. And at the end of the day, you've been made with a purpose. And you just got to find this purpose and just keep digging. It might not just be one, it might be more than one purpose. And since I'm a believer, I would like to share that you know, your path has already been predestined, if you may say so. There is somebody that can lead you if you're willing to, and you just got to make the choice to kind of believe and walk in faith. So, yeah, it might sound complicated. My journey might sound like, you know, I don't know, like a miracle to some people. And she was just lucky. She was just, you know, it was just good timing. But I truly believe that if I hadn't had that thought or the desire to move to Ethiopia in the beginning, I wouldn't have been able to take these steps, you know? So if you do have a desire in your heart, pursue it and take those steps towards it. That's what I'd like to share.
Wow. That was incredible. Guys, listen to this, yeah? So, again, thank you very, very much for joining me on this path and be a part of it. Like I said, once you have your own business, we come back again.
Now I'm pressured to actually start a business.
No. Whenever you have, we can also do a second round. So I'm always open. And to you guys for always listening and watching. Don't forget to share, to like, and subscribe. And this was Unfiltered Culture. And see you next time. Thank you.
Yay.